Hello,
はい、というわ
welcome
けで、やっ
to
ていこうと思いま
RTA
す。
in
じゃあ、カウント
Japan,
ダウンで
the
よろし
English
くお願
Restream.
いします。
We're going to be
難
watching
易度を
a
設
run
定
of
とい
Metal
た
Gear
しまし
Solid
て、
here
タイマーさんです。
on
よろしくお
easy
願いいたし
difficulty,
ます。
and
いき
it's the any
ます。
percent category,
3、
so we're going for all
2、
the big skips.
1、スタ
This
ー
is
ト。
about as fast as it gets. Running Metal Gear Solid, you can't really run the game
はい、
much
とい
faster
う
than
ことで、
this.
ムービーはほとんどスキップします。で、パ
My
ソ
name's
コン
Soapy
版だ
Sam.
と、
I run Metal Gear
無
Solid 2.
線の会話もスタートボタンでスキップできるん
Um,
で、
I run the
スキッ
extreme
プします。
category, but it's quite a similar run.
で、
There's a
開
few
始2
different
分ぐらい
things
は
you
スタッ
do,
フク
but
レジットが流れるので、タイムに何を
what we
押
have
して
here
も
is
影響がな
docks,
いです。何を押して
the
も押す
first
と、
section of
何
the
を押し
game.
てても押すと、メニューになっ
And
たり
what
する
HiST's going to
と、
do here
影響が出ます。
is he's going to be farming alerts. And the reason he does this
で、
is
こ
to
のゲー
avoid
ムは
RNG
戦
later in the
略アクシ
game.
ョンゲームと
You
なっ
want
ていて、
you want
敵
to
に
have a
見つ
certain
かる
amount of
と、
alerts heading
上
into the
に
end
アラー
section
ト
of the
つけ、
game.
今みたいな
If
です
you
ね。敵
don't,
に見つかっ
then
た
a
よ。
very unfortunate event occurs, which I'll
は
talk
い、こ
about
れ
more
大
later.
将モードにま
But
ず
yeah,
行
you
き
want
ま
to
す。
pick up
で、
5 or 6
ある
alerts here
程
to
度
be
逃げる
comfortable.
と、こんな風に、黄色の回避って状態になっ
So
て、
yeah, you'll see him running around in circles, teasing the guards, letting the evasion counter go
で、
down,
ちなみ
and
に
then
常に見
alerting
失
them
った状
again,
態になります。
throwing them around and such.
で、それをさ
There
ら
you
に逃
go.
げ切ると、もう完全に見失って通常の警備に、戻る状態になります。
Yeah, there's in terms of
こんな感じです。
speedrunning at this stage,
はい、
there's
ただ
not
乗っていく
really
と
much you
音に
can
反
do
応して、
to speed this up. The elevator always comes down at around 2 minutes and 5 seconds.
じゃあこれやばいかもな。
So, and there's nothing you can do to speed
で、こ
that
れ
up.
ね、遊
Nothing
ん
that
で
we
るわけ
found
じゃなく
yet,
て、
anyway.
アラートの回
We've
数
got
を
our
稼ぐっ
best
ていうの
people
が
on
め
the
ちゃくちゃ大
job,
事で、
always looking for ways to run this faster, but yeah, currently no way to speed this section up.
多分これ3回ぐらいしか稼げて
So
ないん
yeah,
で、
you
ちょっ
just
とま
have
ずいんですけ
fun
ど、
with your 2 guards here. Normally the best way
で、
is
さ
to
っ
get
き
rid of one of them
クリティックミュージック
and
が
just
か
play
かった
around
の
with the
に
one
なって、
remaining guard.
そろそろちゃんと逃げとかないとまずいんですけど、はい、あと2人ぐらいかな。ミリタリーアドバイザーとアシスタントディレクターが出たら、スタッフゲージと終わるので、はい、大丈夫かな。
The only thing you really have to pay attention to is not to take too much damage here, and
よかったよかった。
make sure that you
で、
have
こ
your
のエレベーター
your
が
alerts
降りて
done
くる時間決まっ
before
て
this
るので、
elevator
そ
comes
の
down, because that will slow you down.
そのために、それまでにアラート稼ぎを終
Just
わらせ
say
て
if
おきたい
anyone
人の
watching is
ことを
interested in
はい、
getting into speedrunning this game,
見つけてくれ。
pop on over to the MGSR Discord,
無能ゲノム
Metal
で
Gear Speedrunners Discord, and yeah, there's a bunch of lovely, welcoming speedrunners
で、
that'll be
ま
more
ず
than happy
ゲノ
to
ム編
get you
成って
started.
言って、ビッグボスの遺伝子を注入されたすごい、優
Alright,
秀
now
な
we have
兵器で
Heliport,
す。
so there's a couple of different ways you
で、
can
こんな
run
風に武
this,
器がゲッ
and
ト
he's
とか
going
で
for
す
the
ね。
stun
今、
grenades.
スネークさん、丸
So
腰
stun
で、
grenades just in this little room here,
潜入しています。で、こんな感
and
じ
then we're
で
going to
シ
head
ャッフル
up.
グレネードとスタングレネー
He's
ドっていう
hopefully
の
going
があ
to,
るん
he's
です
going
ね。
to throw a stun
で、
grenade.
武器持ってると移動速度が
Is
ち
he
ょ
going
っ
to
と
throw a
速く
stun
なる
grenade?
の
No,
で、
he's just going to dodge this guard. That's absolutely fine.
基本
But
的に
you do
は
have to dodge the guard,
武
so
器を
he's
何か
lost a
何かし
couple
ら
of
手に持っ
seconds
てい
there,
る
but
状
I'm
態
sure it's
で、
going to be fine.
進んでいきま
Plenty
す。
of run left to go.
で、シャドウモスと施設内潜入できました。
Fairly inconsequential section here as far as strats go. You are just crawling forward through the vent.
まあ、
Following
ゲーム
these
経験したこ
Alaskan
とある
field
人って、
mice, I
ま
believe
あ
they
なんか
are.
ちょっと今おかしなことがあったなってのが分か
And
ると思うんですけど、
yeah, not really much you can do wrong here. The next section can be pretty dicey. There's a few sections, a few strats for the next section.
装備するときにメニューを開かなきゃいけないん
There's
で
a
すよ。
very safe strat,
今みたいにね。
a
で、
very
メ
risky
ニュ
strat,
ーを開
although
くと、
we're running easy mode here, so the
時が合わ
most
なくなるん
risky
ですよ。
strat
メ
that he
ニュー
can
を開
do,
くがい
which
け
is
ない
to throw a chaff grenade to distract a guard, is
で、
not actually that
一番の
risky
1個特
because
典で、
the
右下ご注目くだ
the
さい。
length of
こん
vision
な
that they
感じで、
have on easy
キ
difficulty
ー
is
ボード
way
の
less
数
than
字キーを
extreme.
させると、
On
それぞ
extreme,
れ
this
対
next
応
area
せ
can
ず
get
に、
pretty dicey
メニュー開かずとも
if you want to run it the
操
fastest
作
possible way,
してくれます。
but this should be pretty
いや、素晴らし
straightforward.
いですね。
Gonna throw a chaff grenade against the box. Guard is distracted. And into the elevator. There's another little point of RNG there where you can get faster elevators. Sometimes they just pop open right when you hit the button, but we didn't get it there.
さあ、そしてここ、右上の
And we've
レー
got
ダ
a
ーにも
first
バグ
major
タッチです
skip
ね。で、それに、
coming
まあ、
up
従
here
って
called
いる
Vent
人質がい
Glitch.
るんですけど、一旦気にしずで置いといて、
Cuts
こ
out
こで
so
カー
much
ド
of
を
the
入れ
game,
ます。
and he's just
は
going
い、
to go out
入
of
れまし
bounds
た。はい、そ
using
し
a
て、まあ、
very
一回振っ
specific
てし
button
まえば、右
combination
上のそれ上
and
の上
head
に
up
上がり
and
ます。
skip a
歩い
fair bit
て、
of the game.
この扉に入って、 てみましょう。はい、というわけ
Now,
で、
if you know the game, you'll notice that he's skipped.
さす
Ooh,
がにね、
depending on how fast you're in the game, but that's a few hours of gameplay there. You've skipped. the guard sequence, Ocelot. You skip the tank fight, Psycho Mantis, Cyborg Ninja. Yeah, you've skipped a fair section of the game there. It's a great skip. And we're going to use out of bounds a few times in this run. Now, much like Docks, there's not really much you can do to speed up this area. Johnny, unfortunately, is having some stomach troubles, and he's just going to walk around in circles. He's occasionally going to try to sneeze, which some runners try to stop him from doing by punching. If you make sounds when you're in here, it makes Johnny say a voice line, and if he's saying a voice line, he can't sneeze, which is wonderful because him sneezing does slow you down a tiny little bit. I'm going to come out from under the bed here and do like a double alert, and that stops Johnny from going into a scripted sequence where he takes a little nap, he walks around a whole extra time, walks around his little circuit here. So yeah, this part of the run is fairly routine. You can tell a lot about a runner's personality from what they end up doing during this section of the run. Some people just do funny shapes on the floor. Some people practice a swim glitch, as HiST is doing here. Now heading into the torture room, we're going to skip this just as quickly as possible by spamming. And then head back into the cell for some more Johnny antics.
で、これ、本当は、なんかアンケートとかで、ミレル助けますかみたいな。この拷問イメージ耐えると、ミレルがお亡くなりね、ミレルを助けることができるんで、まあ、助けますかっていうアンケートをね、取ろうと思ったんですけど、いろいろすっ飛ばしてきてるせいで、スネークの HP がめちゃくちゃ低いんですよ。初期状態で。なんで、耐えれないんですよ。Yeah,
Johnny's just going to walk around the outside of the area a bit more. And again, some runners punch the air to stop him from sneezing. I personally do, although I think it makes less of a difference on this section than the first section where he's sneezing. Time-wise. And yeah, you can basically just have fun at this part of the run. You can grab a drink. You can pretty much do whatever. He's just he's used the out of bounds glitch to go up on the bed there, which is a fun thing to do, but you know, it doesn't help you, it doesn't speed anything up, it's just fun. So Johnny is about to experience some more stomach difficulties, unfortunately. Poor Johnny. And we're going to have a visit from our friend Articon. Just a little bit after. And he's going to give us the tools to escape. And it's worth mentioning the glitch that HiST is probably going to attempt, I would imagine. Upon escaping from here, discovered earlier this year, I believe it's the swim glitch, as it's called in most circles, and it allows you to basically, if you're tapping a specific sequence of buttons that is switching between two weapons, most commonly the chaff and the stun, then you can keep moving forwards during a cutscene. And what this lets us do is in the next section, he's going to try and hit the corner of Snake's item box and use that button combination to keep running forward so that he hits a door. Snake will hit a load zone and he will escape from torture. And it saves you quite a few seconds because you don't have to run around the back of the torture machine, change into your clothes, etc. You just run straight out. Let's see how he deals with Johnny here. Is it going to be a kill? Oh, that's a kill. Sorry, Johnny. Didn't make it this time. Okay. And is he going to hit the swim? That's unconventional. But he's alright, he's not going to lose too much health
こ
to
ん
the
な感じ
camera.
で、はい、うまくいきました。
Gets it second
この
time,
スイムっ
that's
て
fine.
技を使うと、
And this next area is
まあ、今
also
切られ
quite
る
action-packed. We've got
ヌーベル
Armory,
が
one of my
挟まるんですけ
personal
ど、本
least
当は
favorite
それをスキップで
areas
き
to
ます。
run. There's a lot going to be
で
going
こ
on
の
here,
部屋が一番難しいです。
and there's quite a bit that can go wrong.
バグの仕込みに大事な
Throw the guard.
PSC1 というスナイパーライ
Believe
フルを拾いに
he's
行
going to
き
get
ます。
seen there. That's fine though.
大丈夫かな。
There's a chance this is all going to be fine. And how's the elevator? Elevator's good.
大丈夫。
Just needs to distract this guard long enough to slip in. Yeah, that's a lot harder than it looked. And a lot more can go wrong
もう
there.
しばらく、
But he's out.
安心です。
Hooray.
は
I can see him smiling there. Okay.
い。で、まあ、フル
This
って
is
言わ
fairly
れたんですけど、
straightforward.
ちゃんと取れてる。
You just need
この
to
ゲーム
run
スネーク
straight through this
3
area
って
and the
ボ
next
ス倒
area,
す
but you
それ
do
が
need to
上がっ
not
て
step on any mines. There are
い
mines
ろんな
here,
スキルが増えたりす
but
る
if you go on
で
that
スキルが
left
増え
tank
たり
track, you can
武
run
器の
straight
所
through
持数
them.
が増えるので、
And it's all
要は
fine.
PSG1 が最大ス
And
ペ
what
ー
he's
ス
doing
0
now
だと
is called feathering, which is holding one direction and tapping another direction. It's actually
拾って
quicker
な
than
さそうに
moving,
見えるんですけど、拾って
say,
ます。
in two different directions for a certain period of time, if you can
で、
just sort
あ
of
と
feather
1
your
分
way
ぐらい
over.
したらゲームめちゃくちゃになるので、結
So he
構
gets the
ツイ
health
ッターと
refill
か
there,
で
which
そろそ
is,
ろやばくなるよって言ってもらえると助かります。
I mean, it helps on easy. Too much health cannot be a problem. Now, did he throw a stun grenade there? Is he going for the stun
で
right
す
here?
ね、
Yes.
この後、
So this can also go
ま
wrong.
あ、PC 版特有の GME って技、ゴッドモードエクスプロイトって技です
He's
ね。
going to make his way to the
まあ、グリッチ
elevator
じゃなくてストラックで
and
す。はい、
hopefully, yeah, nope, he hasn't been seen.
このね、武器変更がキーボードでで
Just
き
going
る
to
が
throw
ゆ
that
えに、
guard. Now on extreme, that's a lot more difficult because you have to throw that
発
guard
生
over
し
the
てしま
edge.
うエクスプロイト
Otherwise,
が
when he gets up,
出
he'll
る
see
だ
you
け
due to
が、
his greater field of
発生
vision.
このゲーム存在しております。
But no, absolutely fine there.
はい、で、こっから
He's on a
PC の
pretty
対
decent
戦っていう方
pace.
向になります。
HiST is he's a fast runner of this
PSG1 って
game.
相手
I think
は
he's 6th on the leaderboard
補足をしてスコープを覗
for
き
this
込む
category at the minute. He's been
モーションを取るんですね。
making his way up the
でそれを
leaderboards in
キ
recent
ー
weeks
ボード
for
の武
sure.
器変更を使ってキャンセルして
Yeah,
あげ
he's
るとと
6th
んでも
and
ない
he
ことになり
is
ます。さあ、この次の
he's
部屋から
within he's well within a minute of getting a world
進んでい
record,
きます。
so that's possible. I don't know if he could do it here.
はい、
So here we've got an
こんな感じで
outbounce
判定がなくなります。
which you do by doing something called God mode exploit. And there are two different versions of it, and basically what you do is exploit invincibility frames in the game which are granted to you when you equip the sniper rifle.
エクスプロイト、脆弱性
And if you equip another weapon fast enough, then you keep those iframes. And one of the things that lets us do, in addition to not being shot, which is lovely, is let us go out of bounds and find load zones, which are quicker ways to get us into different rooms. Very nice, didn't grab the rope, and he's triggered the alert. And what we've got coming up is Boba Skip, which you may have heard of if you follow this game at all. It was discovered earlier this year by the streamer Boba. And it's cut about, I believe, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes off the run for basically all categories. Just lets the game be run a lot quicker. And what he needs to do is look at a very specific point whilst leaning against this door and take damage. And there's a 50-50 chance that Snake's animation will take him back into the load zone and through the door. He doesn't get it there, but on easy mode, you have enough health to give you a couple of chances at it, and there he's through the door, which is wonderful. He doesn't need to run the rest of the way up the comms tower. He doesn't need to do rappel, which is, I don't think any of us miss rappel, honestly. But no, he's doing great here. Second time Boba isn't that bad. I mean, you can fail it a ton of times in a row. Got a relatively new addition to the run here. I think he's going to try and dodge the bullet. Yep, he's dodged Sniper Wolf's bullet, and he will not be shot onto the ground, which saves you a few seconds. And he's going to use swim again to get across the snowfield here. So he needs to activate GME, the God Mode exploit, and use the swim that I mentioned earlier to get across, which he does, so avoids another boss fight, which is great. Some fairly straightforward running here. Here you see another quirk of GME. where it lets you actually run through walls. As you can see on the radar now, he's gotten to the end of Blast Furnace by running through some walls. And he's going to head now onto the cargo elevator fight. Let's see how he handles this.
ちょっと待ってほしい。
So we've got God mode, punch punch kick.
ちょっと強いので、
Missed that second guard, but I mean that's fine. That's a few seconds lost, but nothing catastrophic there.
いや、これはね、もうメタルギアソリッド1の段階からね、スマブラへの参戦が予期されていったとしても過言ではないでしょう。はい。で、こっからですね、15分ぐらい暇です。
Not really much that can go wrong in that section. There is a camera that can shoot you, but if you use the aforementioned God mode exploit, then it's absolutely fine. So you'll see him you'll see HiST using God mode exploit here as well. And the reason for that is that codec calls can't come in whilst you are GME'd. Whilst you're in GME 2, which is where you do the button combination slightly slower. Snake ends up on his knees after the GME. That's the one you use to go out of bounds, but it also skips codec calls, which is great, because there are codec calls that come in whilst you're on the cargo elevator here. Yeah, dodging Sniper Wolf shot is it's a fairly recent introduction, I believe. You do it by going first person and very briefly leaning over the line where she would shoot you, and you can dodge it. It's very cool. Here we've got Vulcan Raven, expecting GME. Bit of difficulty there, throwing a chaff grenade, but that's okay. And this is really the best example of the God mode exploit. I mean, that's a lot of minigun shots coming at Snake right now, and they can't touch him because he's in God mode. Just laying bare just how broken this game is for PC. But it's great fun. One more grenade and he'll be done here. And we can head into Rex's lair for the probably the longest section of the speedrun, which is going to be heating and cooling the Palki. There's one more major element of RNG in the run, and that's going to be what I was talking about earlier, when HiST was farming alerts at the beginning of the run. It's to manipulate something that's coming up, and he's going to get to the top of this area, and the Palki is going to be shot out of Snake's hand in a cutscene that you don't actually get to see, but trust me, it happens. And if you don't have enough alerts, a pesky rat eats the key, and you have to chase the rat around. The whole thing turns into a bit of a clown fiesta, if I'm honest. And yeah, you don't want that. Well, I don't want that. Some runners do it. It's necessary for the big boss rank, but we're not worried about that here. Especially, we're on easy mode, so you can't actually get big boss. So this is where the cutscene would normally happen, where the key gets shot out, but obviously we're going to skip cutscenes because cutscenes take up time, and, well, we don't want that. It hasn't GME'd there. I guess that's just fine. Maybe GMEing takes... it's probably about the same time as just taking a shot. And you don't really have to worry about your health on easy mode, because you have a ton of health on easy mode. Got the ladders here. We haven't found a way to skip the ladders yet, and they are quite annoying, but hey, what can you do? So, the Palki, which was just shot out of Snake's hand, is what we're going to be looking for now. It's fallen into the ditch, and it's going to be in one of 7 positions, which is, unfortunately, randomized. And you run a particular route, hoping that you find what we call God Pal. It wasn't there. Not there. So we've got a pretty bad Palki here, which is sad, but unfortunately completely unavoidable. Okay. So he's got the bomb there, and the Palki is in the worst possible position that it can be in. See some Fs in chat from anyone who sympathizes with 1 in 7 RNG. There's the Palki, position 7. Ideally you'd have it in position 6, which is right under the little bridge there, right after you jump down. You hate to see it, but it happens. Nothing we can do about it now. And now we're going to go through the long process of handing in the Palki 3 times. And from a speedrunning perspective, very little you can do for this section of the game. You basically play it as normal. You're going to be handing the key in, then you're going to be cooling it down, then you're going to be heating it up. It's the longest section of the run, and there's actually there are actually bounties within the community on this section, because everyone wants this sped up. Very nice. Uses the swim there to keep running through the cutscene so he gets all the way to the bottom of the steps. Man, Metal Gear Solid guards aren't the smartest bunch, but they're a whole lot less smart on easy difficulty, which is great for a runner. But yeah, just going to be playing Snakes and Ladders. Good one. Snakes and Ladders again for a sec here. Getting back down to the ground floor and getting back to where we fought Raven to cool the key down. If there are any aspiring glitch hunters watching this, please install this game and figure out how we can do this quicker. Click on GME there, which is a very safe way to run this room. It says cameras aren't going to be a problem. And yeah, for this section, we're going to wait in here for 61 seconds, which is long enough to cool the PAL key down. Also going to pick up some spare supplies in here. Got the Stinger missiles there, which we're going to be using a bit later. But yeah, again here, nothing you can do to speed this up. You just have to wait for the card to cool down, and it does this after 61 seconds of being in this room. One of the ways to kill this run, I mean essentially kill it, on easy mode, would be to leave the room too soon, get all the way back up to the computer and figure out that you haven't cooled down the PAL key, in which case your options are to run all the way back here to cool it down properly, or just give up. But very little danger of that here, I think. Yep, he's checked the PAL key. If you open up the menu, the PAL key will be one of 3 colors. When you actually hover over it to select it, it will be yellow for normal, blue for cold, or red for hot. And he's gone into the menu to check it, which does cost you half a second-ish, maybe a second. But it is way safer. Here we go again with Snakes and Ladders, and he's just going to run back to the command room, hand in that second key, and then all the way back to the blast furnace to heat it up. Not so much action at this part of the run, so I'll just say, for anyone watching, if you like Metal Gear Solid and you like speedrunning, and maybe you've always wanted to get into speedrunning, but you weren't quite sure where to start, this is a really great game to start speedrunning. There's a lot of different versions, all with their own little quirks, but the PC version, which is very accessible, it's very accessible, readily available, easy to get set up on, and the community at MGSR is fantastic for guides, resources, and all the assistance you might need. So yeah, they have a Discord and everything. That's where I learned.
なんかあるかな。なんか忘れてるところ。まあ大丈夫か。で、じゃあここに来て、なんだろう。そういう説明をざっくりします。敵の、リキッドスネークご一行がこのシャドウモセス島っていう施設を占拠しました。で、占拠をして、国に対して、ビッグボスの遺体っていうのを要求します。で、このビッグボスっていうのがまあすごい人ですね。はい。
The lore of this key is that it's a failsafe to prevent the launch of nuclear weapons from Metal Gear Rex, which is that giant thing that we saw in that last room, and which you never know we might be coming up against very shortly. But yeah, Snake is on Shadow Moses Island to prevent nuclear catastrophe, and he's found out that he has to do this by handing in this PAL key 3 times. At least that's the premise. I mean, I don't really have the time to explain the whole plot here, or even parts of it. It's actually quite a complicated game. But yeah, that's the basic premise. Snake's been told, take this key, jam it in those computers 3 times, once normal, once cold, once hot, and you'll save the world. So, of course, like anyone who wants to save the world, he goes and does it.
で、まあ遺伝子、ソルジャー遺伝子っていうのがあって、なんか優秀なものを主人公であるソリッドスネークに、で劣化している、優勢劣勢ってゲームの中では言ってるんですけど。
It's thankfully the second to last time that we'll be riding these cargo elevators. Again, this would be a great one to find a skip on. If someone can find a way down to those load zones, that would be wonderful time save.
劣った遺伝子を落ち着けられた側のリキッドスネークはこの主人公であるソリッドスネークに、
So same as Vulcan Raven's warehouse, we have this scenario here where the key is going to take 61 seconds to reach the proper temperature, and this room's going to heat it up. You're going to see it's a relatively new strat here. I believe it's from the second half of this year it was discovered and implemented. That's when I started seeing it. But basically you need to pick up supplies in this area, and going through the normal route to do that involves load zones. And we don't really like load zones because they take time. You get a little fade to black screen, it takes up time. So, as you just saw there, HiST was temporarily walking on lava, which is normally totally not okay and would cause you to unfortunately perish. But with a little bit of GME trickery, you can avoid that scenario and get down there to pick up the supplies without having to hit those load zones. So yeah, just the 61 seconds in here. As Fleabites pointed out in chat, you can shoot a tube and heat up the PAL key, and there's also a tube for cooling it down, but that's only on the Twin Snakes remake, not the original Metal Gear Solid game. This is the first ever version. Well, I say the first ever version, it's the PC version. So it's the PC port of the first ever version that came out. So unfortunately we don't have those handy tubes to shoot to manipulate the key's temperature on this version. This is the last time on cargo elevators. And the second cargo elevator here. Now, I usually see how many crows I can punch in the face because, well, that's just the kind of guy I am. But, oh, he's been shot by the camera there. You can GME to avoid that, but again, on easy, not so much of a concern because you have loads of health.
絶対。で、5は、5もどこでもいいかな。あ、そうか、時系列順だとあれか。3ピースウォーカー1、2、3ピースウォーカー
Yeah, so
5、
some crows, or perhaps ravens.
まあいいや。そんなことはいいんだ。
Birds, anyway, are going to land around here, and you can punch them.
なんだ
It's
なんで
unclear whether punching them actually kills them, but you can punch them
で、
if
あと
that's the
1
kind
分
of
ぐらい
person
で
you are.
ラスボス戦が始まります。
See, one just landed there. HiST, obviously a fan of the birds. Heard he loves the birds, so not going to be punching them.
まあ発売順にやるのが一番いいかと思います。
Fleabite, if you can record yourself on the PS1 version,
あ、あと
heating the PAL key up and cooling it down using tubes, you could be a very rich person. There's a decent amount of money bounty in the MGSR Discord, I believe.
お持ちの方はバーチャルコンソールでプレイしてみてください。あ、そうだ、PC 版ね。
Here we go through the
は
warehouse for the final time.
2000
And there are guards in there, so you need to
種類あ
avoid
るかな。
those.
2000年に発売されたマイ
One
クロ
last
ソフト
track through
Windows
Warehouse
が
North here, not getting shot by the
今はですね、
cameras.
まあ Amazon とか、
And we head up
何かしらで
to
ディスク
hand in the
を
final
入
PAL
れ
key.
なさえすれば
Hodkind,
プレイすることができ
this
ます。もっ
is
と昔こっちでやってました。
basically just a narration of the run, English language, talking through what's going on.
で、まあ当時の2000
For
年
anyone
代
who
の
might get confused by
2000
Snake
年代
running through
2000年
walls,
の
not taking any
パソ
damage,
コン
you
で
know,
動くこと
any
を
of that weird
想定さ
stuff.
れていた、ゲームなので、今の Windows 10、だとですね、ちょっと動作が不安定です。で、今は、GOG.com っていうサイトで、発売されているもの、まあ、最近発売されたバージョンですね、を使っています。おまくりなんですが、ちょっと
Okay. So you can stun that guard on the last time in because you don't need to keep your stun grenades for anything anymore. Do have to go around the back of that desk to reach the computer, the final computer, because if you don't, the camera will see you and that is a game over. But he's avoided that, which is great.
敵のリキッドスネークでしたと。で、核の発射を、
Not much to do here, but to wait for our handy friend Otacon to unlock the door.
してしまいましたというところで、今からメタルギアを止めに行きます。
Okay, so that Otacon, he sorted us right out there because we were pretty stitched up without his help. And now we enter the very final phase of the game, where we have a series of boss fights. And first up we have this beautiful machine, Metal Gear Rex. So he's gone for God mode, and yeah, he's going to be shooting that radome on the shoulder of Rex, which I believe in the lore it's his targeting module. So without that, he can't aim. And that's a pretty successful fight. Now we have an unskippable cutscene involving the unfortunate Grey Fox. Usually this would be a very emotional moment of the game, but for speedrunners who see this 20 times a day, you sort of become numb to it. So you think, poor Grey Fox, he did his best, bless him. But mainly it's just annoyance at this bit being unskippable. And here we have the second phase of Metal Gear Rex. I'm going to get up nice and close to him and hopefully lock him in a series of animations so he doesn't back up and fire rockets at you, which is wonderful. So looking pretty good. That's absolutely fine.
さあ、最終決戦でございます。さあ、装備をすべて没収されて素手での殴り合いです。
Yeah, Rex does have some extremely cool sounds. Rex is cool in general. So yeah, here we've got the fight against Liquid, the bare knuckle fist fight against Liquid, and we're going to be looking for what's called the Liquid Infinite Punch, and it's basically stun locking Liquid. There's a few different ways you can set this up. We're seeing a 2-throw method here, and that is a mistake. Didn't get the infinite there, but he's probably going to go for a backup here. That's him in the right position. Unfortunately, he's missed the infinite again there. Back into that position. Come on, HiST, I believe in you. Yeah, honestly, it's so precise
ちょっとうまく
to it's so precise to get him into the position and then to actually land the infinite that this could kill anyone's
マ
run.
ジかここは
Um,
ね一
you
発で決めた
see
かったな
the most experienced speedrunners fall at this particular hurdle and lose really good times because of it. But hopefully we will see that stun lock effect.
抜けるんじゃない
That's the position we want him in. And this could be it.
入りました
That looks like a good setup, and all he needs to do now is keep a specific tapping rhythm. And then once his health gets so low, you
という
can
わけで
kick him or throw him over the edge. End of
まあはまって
fight.
しまえば簡単ということでハマれ
Got
ば
there
簡
in the
単
end.
ハマるまでが難しい、ね、ハ
And
マっ
all
て
that
しまえば
remains now is
まあ、で
the
きる通り
escape
はやり
portion
ま
of
す
the
よ
game,
ってねって感じで
which is basically everything's
な
gone
かなか
wrong.
苦戦させられまし
The
たけど
island's
ま
getting
あ
bombed.
一回はめてしまえば 簡単なん
Let's
で
leave.
ちょっとね位置取りが
So
ね
just
難
got
し
one
いんで
guard
す
to
よ
deal
ね
with here. And Otcon's gonna get
さあ
himself
脱
sorted
出で
out
す
and get driving. And Snake Man's this handy mounted gun on the back of the Jeep.
ここね最後のねウイニングランに思えてだいぶ2、30秒変わってくるのでかなり気が抜け
So
な
we've
い
got a
ところ
couple of
です
checkpoints for the first section of escape.
あそう拷問
Just
に
got
屈
some
服
guards
し
to
ている
deal
ので
with.
オタ
This
コ
is
ンと
fairly
共に
straightforward.
脱出をし
Shoot
ま
the
す
barrels, the guards die, and we can continue. The second checkpoint is a little bit less
ということ
straightforward
でまあぜひねミリル
and
と
is
一緒に脱
the
出を
main
したい
reason you
方は
don't
ミ
really
リル
see
をやって
damageless
みて
runs
く
of
だ
this
さい
game. You almost always take damage here. You got 3 guards, and they are quite pesky.
さあいきなりねまあ捕まってるところをね助けに来てくれた恩人ですからね
That's decent though, not too bad at all.
そうこっからねほんと僕ねウイニングランだと思ってたんですけどねなんか見えはしないんだけどリキッドに
Yeah, John
EXP
Ox,
が
it's
設
really
定されて
exciting
いて
that I mean, it's a 23-year-old game, and
16発はないといけません
this year alone, I mean, you've seen Swim discovered, you've seen
で
Boba
ず
Skip
っと標
discovered.
準を狙
It's
合わせ
been
ているとかが
yeah,
んでし
it's
まっ
been a really
て
strong
こう
year.
やって車線変更してね
Really
銃
exciting
当
time
た
to be
らない
part
よう
of
に
this particular community.
ちょっと起き上がるのを
So,
待ってか
surprise,
ら撃つ
surprise, Liquid is
起き上がる
shown
のを
back
待ってから
up,
撃つっていうの
and
が
we've got a few different configurations of Liquid attacking us here from his own Jeep. Obviously, Liquid being the stronger brother, he doesn't need
スティ
anyone
ンガーを
manning
撃
the
ってから
gun
ね崖
at the back of
外
his
に出し
Jeep.
て
He's
ね
just going to drive with one
捕
hand
まっ
and
て
shoot
る
you
って
with
い
the
うの
other.
がねなんて
And
巧み
good
なん
on
だ
him.
ろう
But yeah, what's going on here? You don't want to look directly at Liquid because he will keep swerving around if you do that.
さあもうそろそろ終わりますね
You just want to wait until he peeks his
こ
head
の
up
セ
and
ー
then
ブがね
shoot.
当たり判定にな
Here,
るんで
you
す
can
よ
just shoot
おってやる毎回当たり
continually.
判定の違うんじゃねえかっていうぐらいブレるんで
So this is a
さあ
fairly solid escape.
それでもはず
Ha, solid.
はい終わりましたこの後画
Goes
面
much
にス
quicker
コ
on
アって文字が
easy
表示され
difficulty.
たらタイ
On
ムアウト
extreme, this section is considerably longer and a little bit more difficult. But yeah, that is game. So Metal Gear Solid 1 completed in inside 40 minutes, very respectable time.
持ちをやってました
Good running, good display of all the most current strats in the game.
16秒まあ寝起きにしてはなかなかいいじゃない
Finished it
まあ
without
本当は
dying a single time,
35
so
分37なん
well
で
done to HiST
そ
there.
れ考えたらあれなんですけどまあ運悪かったっていうのを考えるとまあ
Hope you all enjoyed that,
ということで
and yeah, enjoy the rest of
最
the
後までお待たせ
enjoy the rest of the marathon.
申し訳ございませんでしたまあそれなりに見せたいものは見せれたんでいいんじゃないかなと思いますはいでまあ EST ボバスキップが運ゲーだったんでそこ失敗することも考えてEST 長めに撮ってたんですけどまあまあ一応一発でいけたんで一発でコンティニューなしでいけたのでよかったなと思いますはいというわけで DG ということでありがとうございましたはいまあ僕名古屋 RTA オフってイベントもやってるんでよかったらこっちを見てくださいというわけでありがとうございました大丈夫切り替わるかな、まあ、前回ちょっとバックアップでアサルトスパイ走ったんでそちらも見てください